Hey guys, Itaewon Sammy here, back again for Sunday Fun Day. Let me just stretch out here and get a little comfortable. I always like sitting on the floor, and I gotta ask this, why do I like sitting on the floor? I have a perfectly good couch, and I think it's, number one, the floor is heated, and I'm sitting on a mat, right? So it's very soft, and it's the back. I like to, like this. I like to sit back, or I like to scrunch down and, rest. It's just, on the couch, I really can't do that. And I have the keyboard here, right? So, I have my keyboard right here. So it's like right in front of me. If I was sitting on the couch, I'd have to have like, a little desk or something like that. So it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's more comfortable this way. Anyway, today's story. I dated a K-pop star. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Now, how did I do that, might you say? Might you ask? I'm going to tell you. Let's follow along. Anyway, before I do, please subscribe. I do really appreciate it. Click the like button, make a comment. Even if you don't want to subscribe, can you just make a comment or click the like button? What that does is it helps get my video out to more people. And maybe those people might subscribe. And it really helps me a lot to get to my goal of 4,000 hours. I'm at about 30%, 35% of my goal right now. So I really appreciate if everyone could just do that for me. My regular subscribers, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Anyway, I dated a K-pop star. Now, this was 10 years ago. When I first came to Korea, Itaewon was a very different place. A little history, and you can check on my videos on the history of Itaewon. There's a video back about a year ago detailing the history of Itaewon, past and present. So you can look that up and learn a little bit more about that. I've talked about it before. So anyway, a brief synopsis. Itaewon 9 years ago, was a different place. It was 99% foreigner. Koreans would not come here. They didn't enjoy it for one reason or another. The only Koreans that were here were westernized Koreans, or Koreans who were interested in that foreign flavor of nightlife. One of the other side fringe benefits, maybe, or fringe whatever, so one of the side notes was that because there were not a lot of Koreans, famous Koreans would come and party here because they were not recognized, or they could party without being paparazzi'd. So I remember several times. I remember one case instance. I was at my favorite place, Rocky Mountain Tavern, which was a Canadian pub. It was one of the first places I went to, obviously, because it's Canadian, and I became a regular there. I knew the owners, great Canadian guys, and the staff and everything like that. And I met one of my first friends there. And he introduced me to this guy named Mr. G. That was his nickname. He didn't speak a lot of English. Was a crazy funny guy. He was running around, just being silly and everything. I thought it was really cool. It turns out that he was a very famous comedian, because I was on a date, and I remember I saw my friend with Mr. G, and I invited them over. We were having coffee on the street, and I called them over, and my friends started freaking out, going, "Ooh," because they recognized who he was. So I didn't know who he was. Another time I was at a barbecue here in Itaewon at a friend's house, and I'm talking to this Canadian Korean. I discovered that she was Canadian. She was very beautiful. My gosh. She was probably one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen in my life. Typical Korean style, tall, slender, broad shoulders, skinny, long hair, beautiful face. Just insanely beautiful. Still can't believe it. And I'm just casually chatting. And turns out she's Canadian, but moved here when she was young, and we call that a kyopo. And we were talking, and it took me 20 or 30 minutes till I realized that she was a very famous K-pop star. I'm not going to say who it was. But that's not the one I dated, no. I mean, this one, she is like an A-lister. I didn't realize that. So then, I was at another, was it a party? I wouldn't say a party. Like, my friend was hosting an event at a gallery. So the style back then was to invite a lot of foreigners to come so that the pictures could be taken of all these foreigners at a Korean event. So it was a gallery showing of some prominent Korean artist, and there were all these Westerners there. So I'm there, and I'm dressed up a little bit. I was invited by my friend. I knew a couple of people there. So I'm just chatting up, I'm networking or whatever, just having fun. And the host, my friend, my good friend, introduces me to this group of people. There's guys and girls there, and we're all talking, and they're all asking me, you know, at this point I'd been in Korea for about a year. But again, I still don't know who all the famous people are. And in this time, you know, I'm pretty popular in Itaewon because I've been here more than a year, or about a year, and, you know, I know everybody and everything like that. So this was before maybe YouTube, before all the social media. Yeah, this was before, like, Facebook was there, but nothing else, you know, Foursquare. This is 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Anyway, I'm chatting up with these people and everything like that, and we're in the group and we're all talking and everything like that. So it comes out that I'm, you know, living here a long time, and that I'm actually planning on living here a long time, and that I'm not a teacher and I'm not military. So this intrigues everyone because they're all curious, and also my age. At that time, I'm like 40, 41, 42. And my age, because at that time, I still look very young. I look like in my late 20s, early 30s at that time. So people are all just like, wow, and everything. And they were so curious. That was the thing. They were very curious as to why a foreigner would want to be here. So then this other, I don't want to say girl, and I don't want to say lady. Well, anyways, this female joins. And if nobody knows this about me, so I'm going to reveal something very private about me. I can talk to anyone at any time, anywhere. I have no fear. I'm not shy. I'm an outgoing person. I'm slightly introverted because I do like my private time. I've talked about that before. But I am an extrovert. I like to talk to people. Except in one instance or condition. If I see, all right, so as you know, I meet lots of pretty girls. I can talk to pretty girls anytime, anywhere. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I know how to do it without being creepy or being, you know, whatever. So I can talk to anyone at any time, except when I have a crush on someone, or when that lightning strikes you. This woman I saw, she looked at me and I just went, I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk. I couldn't even look at her. She was insanely beautiful. Tall, thin, long hair, eyes the size of just like radar dishes. Beautiful. And I'd seen a lot of beautiful women in Korea, but this one just took my breath away. Couldn't talk to her. But I'm talking to everybody else. I'm playing it cool, you know, and I'm just like, oh, hi, you know, I'm just nice to meet you and everything like that. I didn't know who she was. And so blah, 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 little by little, you know, people break away or everything. And it ends up that I end up being, not by myself with her, but just like 3 people. And she starts talking to me. Perfect English. And she starts talking to me, and I'm just being real chill. Just like, yeah, not talking about myself too much, asking her questions, you know, and where's she from, you know. I didn't get into what she does or anything. She said she was into the entertainment business. I didn't pry or anything. We talked about the art and everything like that, and, you know, talked about travel and everything, and you know, I was from Sri Lanka. She goes, "Oh, I've always wanted to go there. It sounds beautiful." I said, "Yes, it is." And we talked a little bit about Sri Lankan history because at that time the war was still on. But anyway, it turned out to be really great. And as in, you know, in those days, I was networking, so I had my name card. So I handed it to her, obviously. I wasn't working at a club at that time. I was just a regular guy. And so the next day I'm chatting up with my friend who invited me, and he's like, "Do you remember that girl?" And he said her name. And I said, "Yeah." She wants to invite you to an event. And I'm like, "Oh, cool. What is it?" Blah, blah, blah. It's no. She likes you. And I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, she wanted to meet you with her and a couple of her friends, and I'll come and we'll all hang out." So in those days, it was like a group date, right? And not really a date. It's more of a group date. So I said, "Okay." And he's like, "Do you know who she is?" And I'm like, "No." "Why?" He says, "Oh, no reason. He didn't say anything to me at that point." So we go out and we have dinner. Now, again, I didn't put 1 and 1 together or 2 plus 2 together in this, but dinner was in a private room in a restaurant. No pictures well, again, there was no, it wasn't a big camera time back then, the selfies. There was no YouTube or anything. There's Facebook, but anyway, I don't remember. But it didn't click into me until afterwards. Why? Because it turns out, you know, we ended up dating for a while. I found out pretty quickly who she was. And she was I would say, a B level K-pop star. She wasn't the main singer in the group. She was one of the, you know, because the K-pop, they have like 4 or 5 people in a group. She was, you know, number 3 or number 4, I would say, but still. I'd been to a couple of her concerts. And again, we had to keep the relationship private. I've never talked about this except with a few people know. But again, it was very interesting experience to do that. Anyway, yeah. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. It lasted a couple of months, and then she had to travel and the scheduling, and then she became super famous. And I still say hi to her once in a while. She still says hi back, you know, now and then. And when she's in Seoul, she invites me to concerts or anything. So I've been to a few. But we're friends now, that's all. But it was a fun time. I'll tell you that. It was a fun time. Anyway, that's my story. Itaewon Sammy, living life. I'm out.